I started YouTube 9 months ago. As of today, I have over 20,000 subscribers, over 1 million views, over $12,000 of revenue, a $50,000 consulting gig, interviews in Business Insider and The Verge, and countless sponsorship offers. Here's how I did it. First, a little background on me and why I started doing YouTube in the first place. I went to Cornell's School of Hotel Administration, where I studied hospitality with a concentration in finance, accounting, and real estate. Essentially a business degree, but through the lens of hospitality. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to serve others. And as I progressed through college, banking and consulting grew wildly popular among my peers. I did stay away from banking for a bit. I had some life-changing experiences at a Series A venture-backed startup, but eventually I did concede and sell my soul to corporate banking. Banks were trendy. They paid well, they had great benefits, and I was able to convince myself that banking was something that I truly enjoyed. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I wasn't happy. I didn't love it. I felt like I had so much creativity in me that was atrophying with every day I spent neck deep in Excel models. So in July of 2021, I quit my job. I gave myself 1 year to figure it out before I would go and attempt to return to the workforce. 1 year to try to make it. I kind of had a plan. I had a startup of my own called TENDERFOOT.io that I had been working on since March of 2021. I wanted to go full-time on that. We connected students with internships at startups, and our beta list of users was growing every day. But as time passed, I found that I kind of had a knack for content creation. I grew an audience on Twitter, and I found that I was very good at writing long educational threads. My startup went into hibernation mode for about 5 months due to complications with my previous co-founder, and I started finding myself into freelancing, both content freelancing and graphic design freelancing. I felt more creative, much more free, but I was still ultimately answering to somebody else's schedule. I was ultimately answering to my clients. And then I discovered YouTube. I first considered starting a YouTube channel after listening to an episode of the Indie Hackers podcast featuring Ali Abdal. I thought that a whole YouTube thing sounded fun, but I wasn't a YouTuber, right? Only cool people did YouTube. Only fun people did YouTube. Only people with British accents did YouTube. Hello, everybody. I fit none of these criteria, but I decided to give it a shot anyway. I figured I would upload 1 video per week and add YouTube to my portfolio of small bets, increasing my surface area for luck. And so my YouTube journey began. I started creating YouTube videos about how to grow an audience on Twitter. That's the type of content that I knew. That's the type of content that my growing Twitter audience loved. So it would work on YouTube, right? Wrong. My Twitter content worked so well because I put it on Twitter. Not many people on YouTube wanted to learn about Twitter. I had a couple hundred subscribers I was able to convert from my Twitter audience to support me on YouTube, but I wasn't being discovered by anyone new. I wasn't growing, and this was very disheartening. But I still stuck with it for a couple of months, posting diligently week after week until I got sick. I missed an upload, and then I missed another. Then I thought that my voice hadn't fully recovered, so I missed yet another video. And before I knew it, I hadn't uploaded to YouTube in a full month. And during this leap, I figured I would need something drastic to kick myself back into gear. So I dedicated the next 6 full weeks to learning as much as I possibly could about YouTube. And that was the best decision I could have made. Even that first week was life-changing. I dove into video editing and learned all I could about icons and sound effects and transitions and animations and background musics and all of the little things that you could do to drastically improve your video production without changing your filming style. I also spent weeks deep diving into topics, tactics, thumbnails, and titles. Why in the world do all of the important things start with the letter T? And that's when I started working on a brand new video idea. On the recommendation for some folks in my Twitter audience, I had launched my very first NFT collection in October of 2021. It didn't do very well itself. I was brand new to NFTs and I made a lot of mistakes. But through that process, I had learned a ton, and I was sure that I could share this knowledge with other people interested in the industry. I had already written a Twitter thread about that journey, and it had performed quite well. I figured I could build on the content on Twitter and transform that entire experience into a YouTube video. So I made the video. It was a 14-minute long video, and it took me 26 hours to edit. I was implementing all these new things I learned about editing, and it just took me ages. I also tried some more colorful lighting, new sound effects, new transitions, and a new font. I added music. I actually made a hook. I used a proven formula for titles. How to blank without blank. I agonized over the thumbnail, adding a color block for emphasis, slightly tilting the text, and focusing on adding intrigue. I poured my heart and my soul into this video, and it was performing moderately well until day 9. That's when things first started taking off. I received 100 views in one day for that video, more than I had ever received before. And then I received 200 views the day after that, and 400 views the day after that. And on day 14, I reached 1,000 views in one day. Zooming in on around day 13, we can see that this happened when views from browse overtook views from search. And that's when things really started taking off. And for reference, this is what that graph looks like today. 186 days later, and I'm still receiving over 1,000 views per day from that video alone. So at this point, I was obviously ecstatic. I had a video blowing up. I'd heard of this type of thing happening to others, but it was actually happening to me. Incredible. Except for one problem. This video was about NFTs. I had hordes of people coming in, discovering my channel, saying that they loved the video, that this was the first time they actually understood someone talking about NFTs, etc., etc. But my niche wasn't NFTs. My niche was helping people grow their audiences on Twitter. And this is when I had my first crisis. I thought I didn't want to become the NFT girl. I had launched one NFT collection, and it wasn't even a wildly successful one. Sure, I knew more about NFTs than the average person, but I was still by no means an expert. I wasn't even interested in trading NFTs. I didn't want to be an NFT channel. I struggled with this decision for quite a bit. I saw two paths ahead of me. First, I could delist that video and keep going on with Twitter-related audience building content. Or two, I could lean into NFTs. And I agonized over this decision for a long time. After much thought and pain put into the decision, I finally made my choice. I would lean into NFTs, but I would approach NFTs in a different way. After some audience analysis, I realized I had two main groups of people who were being drawn to that video. There were the digital artists who had heard of that whole NFT thing and was wondering if NFTs were right for them in their work. There were also the more tech-savvy people who were keeping up with new trends and wanting to see if NFTs were great for a new business idea or a new venture of theirs. These were people who wanted to make money online and who had a need to grow an online audience. And I realized I can make content for them. I can help demystify NFTs for them, and then maybe eventually, after time, broaden my focus to help people build their audiences online and find other ways to make money online. And additionally, I realized that there was a huge gap in NFT education that I could fill. So many of the NFT channels out there had some sort of monster energy drinking incel dude bro culture. It was very difficult for people to learn about NFTs. I figured, look, if I could come in and make this potentially very complex industry easier to understand for some people, that's value that I could be providing to the world. So I leaned into NFTs, and the videos have performed quite well. My second NFT related video started taking off, and it struck me. I had hit gold. I had finally found audience creator fit. And then on December 3rd, I got monetized. I was absolutely over the moon. At the beginning of November, I had 214 subscribers and 81 watch hours. And to get monetized on YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. I had hit that huge milestone in just 1 month. And each day I was making more and more money. On the 4th day of being monetized, I made over $110 in just one day. Everything was going so well. But then the messages started coming in. I couldn't keep up with my YouTube comments. My Twitter DMs were flooded, Instagram DMs too. Some people had even found my email address. My inbox was becoming even more uncontrollable than it normally is. Many of these comments and messages were super sweet. People saying that they loved my videos or that my videos had really helped them. Lots of messages included questions. Questions I became increasingly guilty about ignoring when I just didn't have the energy to keep up with them all. Many messages were sponsorship opportunities. They were NFT projects or related startups who wanted to pay me to get featured in one of my videos. I had no idea what to do about these. Should I be accepting them in the first place? If so, which one should I accept? What happens if I promoted a project on one of my videos and some of my viewers bought in and then that project crashed? Would my viewers hate me forever? And then some messages were just straight up toxic. People criticizing the way that I spoke. If only I had a British accent, right? The way that I looked, the way that I thought. People were hypersexualizing me and making lewd comments about me. People saying that they'd stop at nothing to pursue me, that they would track me down and get me eventually, that even if I ignored them, at least they could stare at my face on YouTube all day. This is when I had my second crisis. I completely broke down. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do. I felt so alone and so isolated, and yet at the same time weirdly tapped in, trapped by all these incessant messages from strangers all around the world who all wanted something from me at all hours of the day. Yeah, not fun. So I sought out some help from some other YouTubers and from my Twitter audience. Honestly, I don't think that I would have been able to get through it all if not for the community that I had. These were the only people who got it. My other non-creator friends just didn't really understand. And so with the help of others, I devised a plan to keep myself sane. I'd block a lot of words through YouTube's community settings. I would only check messages between certain hours of the day, and I would be very, very liberal in blocking people. And within a week, I started feeling much, much better. With better comment management and eventually hiring a video editor, YouTube became something I could pursue much more consistently. And over the course of just a few months, as a result of my YouTube channel and my NFT niche, some incredible things started to happen. I made 5 figures in revenue just from YouTube AdSense and sponsorships alone. I was approached by a viewer who absolutely loved my videos and was offered a $50,000 consulting gig. I was also invited to advise a venture-backed NFT project from some other viewers of mine. I was reached out to by journalists from Business Insider and The Verge for profile pieces about me. And I was even featured in a documentary. Everything was going so well until February 2022. That's when I started feeling burnt out from YouTube. I had learned so much about NFTs, and I was seeing the impact of that every day. My comments were flooded with folks expressing their gratitude, saying that they had learned so much from me and that they really loved my videos and that I was the first person that they could understand talk about NFTs. I did feel like I was finally able to make NFTs more accessible to a wide range of folks, but I wasn't able to give any single person the attention that I really wanted to. I wanted to be able to dive deeper into topics, to have a back and forth, to discuss, to debate, to get much more personal with my YouTube audience. But while YouTube is great for one-way education, it is terrible for two-way communication. I became so frustrated and burnt out trying to give my audience this educational experience that I knew that I could provide, but just wasn't able to. So I took a break, and as a result, my views plummeted. And at first, it absolutely sucked. I was not used to seeing charts fall so quickly. It was kind of terrifying. But this break also provided me so much clarity in my life. I started to travel. I met up with YouTube and Twitter friends in real life. I completely revamped and wireframed all of Tenderfoot, my startup. And I even fell in love. And through this all, I realized that even though I loved creating on YouTube, I did not want to be a full-time YouTuber. At my core, I'm a creator and an educator, and YouTube is just simply not the place for the type of education that I want to provide. And so after a lot of thought, I decided to create a course. I was super hesitant to do this. Courses in the NFT space have a pretty bad rep, and for a good reason. There are countless examples out there from courses from NFT influencers promising to give away their biggest secrets for NFT success, and all it ends up being is just some shoddy money grab scheme. I didn't want to affiliate myself with any of that. But I also realized that for what I wanted to accomplish, to make NFTs accessible to all, to accelerate the NFT learning curve, and to give much more personalized feedback to a wide variety of folks, a cohort-based course was really my only option. So looking into the future, YouTube has completely changed my life. It has introduced me to an entirely new industry. It has established me as an industry expert, and it has ensured that I would never, ever again have to go back to getting a full-time job. I'm definitely continuing with YouTube. I love it way too much not to. But instead of forcing myself to upload each and every week, I'm shooting more for once every 2 weeks or even once a month. I'm pouring the majority of my attention into building out the course that I wish I could have had when I first started my own NFT journey. There's still so much of the story to come. The things change so quickly. Every month is different. But I am so incredibly grateful to be here and to be able to share this with all of you. I hope this video was helpful in seeing what contributed to a YouTube success, but also helpful in showing that success comes with its own challenges. It's not all just unicorns and rainbows. So I'm here if you have any questions, and if you're interested at all in the course that I'm building, you can find a link to it in the video description below. In the end, I am the NFT girl. And you know what? I'm proud. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you can, and I will see you in the next video.